one thing I wanted to say is don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool. It's cool to use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There is a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. So, just be careful. Be very careful. Thank you.
There's only one God. And I believe in the afterworld. And I just want people to know that I'm very sincere in my beliefs. And I pray every night. And I don't ask for much. I just say thank you.
Always. And here's the interesting thing. Do you have a cell phone?
No.
See, I'm always shocked when I hear from you. But how do you survive in this world without a cell phone?
Everybody I know has one.
Oh.
Well, when you listen to the music, there are a lot of people running around kind of Y2K in it, and we just kind of chilling and
Are
studying.
you worried about Y2K?
No, sir.
Not at all?
No.
Some computer's gonna go wrong, you'll fly.
I don't worry about too much anyway.
You don't?
No.
Did you ever? When you had disputes, arguments with record companies, taking a stand, were you a worrier?
No, I think once I started writing Slave on my face, I pretty much knew the outcome. I mean, you have to understand that that word on one's face pretty much changes the dynamic of any meeting that you're in when they see it.
And how did people react to you when they did see it?
Well, the record company didn't really say too much. They just kind of... All right, what's the business at hand today? You know, and that was it.
That made you say, I've got to put some more stuff out there. You have to do this.
Mainly I sensed a great deal of negativity and entropy in the music. There's a disintegration going on that we really have to address. And our values have been lessened to a great degree. VH1's been pretty cool. They don't show too much craziness on their channel, but other Viacom channels do. So I think that we should address this as a community as to what it's doing to the culture. People can say all they want to, that there's no reason for these kids to listen to music and then go shoot somebody, but you know, there's something that's triggering these buttons.
Do you feel responsible as an artist
Very
for
much so.
what you're putting? Do you think that other people do?
No, I don't.
You talk about music that's going out there right now. Are you talking about any particular type of music that you don't think is such a positive influence?
Well, it's very obvious when you hear words and lyrics, whether they enlighten or discourage.
Okay, so hip-hop gets slammed a lot. Marilyn Manson gets slammed, Korn gets slammed. A lot of those acts that are, out there putting, is that what we're talking about?
It's not what I'm talking about.
No?
I'm just talking about the truth.
Just general?
Yeah. The truth is that you either are here to enlighten or discourage.
Do you feel like you obviously, you've grown a lot and you've changed since 1982 and the 80s when you were putting out music, but you were always thought of as somebody who was putting out extremely sexual music.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a problem to you, or are you talking more about the profanity?
Yeah, sexuality is not bad.
No.
I'm talking about sexuality is very spiritual in nature, and that's a God-given gift too. No, I'm talking about just plain disintegration, where you're not even speaking the truth anymore. and the violent imagery that's permeated the society and our music now. And sampling is getting to the point where it's out of hand too. I mean, pretty soon we'll be sampling the sample that was already sampled.
Somebody was joking, saying Mariah Carey had sampled herself on the latest album. So, you know, how do you measure your success?
By who was the rapper? Masterpiece said, "Only God can judge me." There it is. Only God can judge me.
All right. Good. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Check this out. Check this out. I want to read something for you. Some people find it odd that when we win anything in this game, we give praise back unto God. Well, in somebody else's game, any triumph makes us feel blessed. When it's your game, you make the rules, everything comes easy. All your friends are in key positions, so when you decide you don't want to play anymore, you never leave empty-handed. Can somebody say golden parachute? Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well. The majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you. You are a blessed people. You're the most talented on earth, and you are still grateful. That is why upon winning in their game, you always thank God. Tonight I would like to ask one favor of you. Imagine what we'll all be like in our own game. Peace and love for one another.
Is embedded in the lyrics of your music.
I almost think that we were taught race. It wasn't something that we're just born with. We all look different. We are all varied in our complexions and sizes, and you know, all that's wonderful. That's good, you know. But when we are put in boxes, I've always railed against that. So this isn't a new topic for me.
Could you picture the Prince that I see now in front of me in 2004? Could you see this 25 years ago when you were singing songs with some pretty explicit lyrics? And did you ever foresee this change in you?
Well,
this maturity, this evolution?
Well, I always challenge people to play one of my so-called explicit songs up against an explicit song of today. I mean, if you take some of the music off these songs of today, you've got straight pornography. And one thing I always tried to keep was sensuality in my music. It was never done in a spirit of misogyny or meanness.
You're definitely not a misogynist because you tend to employ female musicians in your band, right? Why?
That's a good question.
They're the better sex?
Watch it now. Watch it now.
That's all right. You can admit that to me because I'm a female.
Here we go. So you threw me off there. Female musicians, I think, tend to listen better, and they don't let their ego get in the way of music.
Females play better with others. That's
They
what.
listen better. Come on now.
Rivalry between you and Mr. Jackson.
Oh, not to me, no.
That's, okay. So I love the story of you. You know, there's all these Prince. I'm sorry. That's the guy you used to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's the story of you turning down Bad.
Well, you know, that Wesley Snipes character, that would have been me. All right, now you run that video in your mind. I said, who gonna sing that to whom? Because you sure ain't singing it to me. And I sure ain't singing it to you. So, right there we got a problem.
It's so weird now. You were made out to be this weird cat, and he was like Mr. Disney, and you're married, chilling. He's this man. You're like a married man.
Well, you know,
Play it.
You know, there again, you know, hopefully the press will get to the point where it will it'll be a law where you have to tell the truth. It won't be about speculation. I'm a musician. I live for that. I live for playing and creating.
$1 million, that's like a huge deal, right?
So you feeling that?
No, well, what I mean, I don't understand. What the public sees the word $20 million an album. Well,
let's see. Do you all think that's a good deal?
What, I mean, tell me why. I mean, what am I missing?
Okay, let's do some math.
Okay.
If
You do math like that?
Kinda. If you sign me, you signed me to a record company or a record deal. Let's suppose you have a record company.
Right.
How much would you give me? The album sells for $18, right? $18.
Whatever. Yeah.
All right. How much of that would you give me?
Well, I don't know how it works.
Well, no.
Half?
Half? Half sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Check this out. If I sell 1 million copies, I'm gonna have $10 million, right? Roughly $10 million.
Right.
If I sell 2 million copies, I got $20 million.
Right.
If I just sell 3 million copies, I got $30 million. Now who has the biggest record deal?
Oh, I see. Yeah, right. Okay.
Right? So Mariah kind of got screwed.
If you should give an advice to young kids with aspirations of a career like yours, going into the music business, what kind of advice would you give them? Because as you stated many times, it's a jungle out there, you have to take care of
¿Qué consejo le darían a los chicos que empiezan la carrera musical?
It's very important to keep ownership of your master recordings.
Es muy importante mantener los derechos de autor.
In the studio, there are master tapes and there are slave tapes.
En el estudio hay masters.
And I learned the hard way.
Y él aprendió de manera dura.
I'm trying to regain ownership of my master recordings.
Está intentando hacerse con hacerse dueño de su compañía de disco.
Because that's where
Porque es ahí donde
that's where you make the most money.
porque es ahí donde se más dinero.
And money is a symbol of power
Y
down
es
here.
símbolo de poder.
It's not real power, but it's
No es un poder
the
verdadero,
symbol of power.
pero es el símbolo del poder.
And we use the money to
Nosotros utilizamos el dinero para
better our communities. And
ayudar a nuestras comunidades.
it's best that the money that's
Y es mejor que el
the
dinero
money that's made from the master recordings belongs to the master as opposed to the slave.
es mejor que el dinero hecho por el maestro, por el máster, sea del y no del esclavo.
I created the art,
Él creó el arte
and I should reap the benefits, don't you think?
y él debería ganar los beneficios, ¿no creéis?
Well, that's not how record companies work.
Pero no es así como funcionan las compañías de discos.
Are there any record company people here?
¿Hay alguna persona de la compañía de discos?
All right, good. All right, let's talk.
Well, what about if you're young, sir, and you have this great dream of becoming a musician, and you get this deal with a record company, and they tell you got it, that you would, kind of compromise and say, yeah, okay, you can have it.
¿No se sentiría enseguida a gusto de saber que ya tiene un contrato y se lanzaría?
There's a story in the Bible
Hay una historia en la Biblia
where
donde
the devil offered Jesus the
el
world,
demonio ofrece a Jesús el mundo
and he refused,
y él lo rechazó
and thus gained his soul.
y así ganó su alma.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Y eso es todo lo que voy a decir.
Very wide palette to, put colors onto.
But about the highest risk one would think someone who gets famous would take is to drop the name that got them famous.
Well, that was one of the things that I dealt with, is that I really searched deep within to find out the answer to whether fame was most important to me or my spiritual well-being, and I chose the latter.
Was it difficult to not be what you had become known as?
You mean?
I think, well, let's say the only other famous person I know who did this was Cassius Clay. He's a dear friend, and he changed his name to Muhammad Ali as heavyweight champion of the world. That was incredible. To change your name, that was due to a faith belief. But he wasn't selling records. He was in the ring, and as long as he won, it sold. You, though, a person in show business, is almost dependent on recognition. You stop being Prince.
Well, that's a good point. I pretty much wanted to be dependent upon God. And when you get the inner calling to do something and you know that you're being inspired by God, you pretty much know you better answer that call or suffer the consequences.
Do you think this was God-inspired as well?
I do believe, yes.
Why then did you choose the artist formerly known as?
Well, I didn't choose that. That was chosen.
Chosen for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
What would you have chosen? I mean, did you think of a name? What is your name at birth?
My name at birth was Prince Rogers Nelson. Yeah.
So, did you think of Nelson?
No.
Rogers?
No.
Were you thinking of a name?
No, it didn't come to me like that.
So how did the artist formerly known as come about?
Well, that came up through people's